Hello FIFA fans and welcome back to Switched On, and finally got round to starting Season 2 of a FIFA Career mode on FIFA 19 on the Nintendo Switch. If you remember, if you followed our first career mode, we were Everton in the Premier League, and it was an okay season, especially when you consider how Everton are doing in real life. Finished in the top half. We had aspirations of Champions League and hovered in and around that for most of that Premier League season. Very up and down season, a lot of inconsistency. But yeah, unfortunately, just in the last couple of months, dropped away and finished outside those Champions League places. So, going to try something different. We're coming out of the Premier League and we're going to try and resurrect a sleeping giant, or QPR. Anyway, not necessarily a giant, but a former Premier League side. And can we turn their fortunes around and get them back into the Premier League? So, where the Everton season, the aim was to get in the Champions League, this one we're very much aiming to get Queen's Park Rangers promoted to the Premier League. So, we've just literally loaded in the career mode as Mr. Manager. And I've got a few ideas on transfers. Been out of the game a little while, so I'm just going to create a shortlist just to get started. I think the aim for this season is to bring in hungry young players rather than sort of waste the money that QPR have done in the past on players that haven't really quite done it for them, haven't quite wanted to be there. So the first player we're going to look at plays for Southend, my local side. So I've got a bit of a heads up on him. He's a tough tackling midfielder. He's in here somewhere. There he is. Drew Yearwood, 18. I'm going to stick him on the shortlist. But yeah, he's a sort of a diminutive midfielder. Definitely get around the pitch. Can stick his foot in. Got a lot of potential. Being watched in real life by a lot of sides. But we're hoping to swoop in and pick him up before anybody else does, as we think he'll be a good addition to this squad. Second player we're going to stick on the transfer shortlist is a player I've been impressed with in League One. Plays for Portsmouth. A lot of pace. And that's Jamal Lowe. Certainly do something on that right hand side. So he's going on the shortlist as well. What I'll do, I will also stick a few others on the shortlist and probably cut and edit this video around just to make sure it's not too dull. Let's have a look what our scouts have been up to. So they're looking at some promising players as well. So maybe there's some here we can certainly keep an eye on. Jesse Schuurman, Dutch midfielder. I'm going to have a closer look at him, I think. So stick him on the shortlist. His contract's up in 12 months. So that might be an interesting one. George Marsh of Spurs. I don't mind a Premier League loan player. His contract's up in 12 months and he's actually listed for loan. So we'll have a closer look at him. Victor Fernández of Newcastle. Left-sided player. Basically, anyone in the Premier League that's up for a loan, I'll be interested. Dylan Vente from Feyenoord. 5'11". Good stats though. Look at those stats. Lots of yellows and greens. So he is very interesting to me. Let's have a quick jimmy through the rest of them. Anyone else of any interest? I think we've got enough for now. Probably there's a couple of others that I'll add to the shortlist as well, but that's it for now. So let's have a look. Here we are, QPR. Walk through the door. We've met with the players. So let's have a closer look at the squad. They've been lining up in this 4-2-3-1 formation. We know some of these players. Nucky Wells up front now, very good player. Luke Freeman, very good player. Essie Easy is apparently excellent. Let's have a look at some of his attributes. Can play pretty much anywhere in that midfield or from the left, though he's right-footed. So we've been monitoring his progress. I think kind of in this central area here. This is why we're going to look at Yearwood. I think this certainly the midfield 2. And then the centre halves are certainly up for consideration. Quite happy with the fullbacks. We've got I can't think of his first name. Damn it, Furlong and Jake Bidwell. Darnell Furlong and Jake Bidwell. But we've also got Angel Rangel, who's an excellent right back, one of my favourite top league players of the past few years. So really pleased to have him there. And then we've got Hamilan, who looks Finnish, yeah. So we've got a backup left back, and we've also got Kake, backup right back, Shodipu. So, I mean, we've got a nice amount of depth in the squad, it looks like. So that's interesting. Matt Smith, really good striker. I love a target man, and he'll do a good job. Hamed, I'm not so convinced about. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with this squad, to be honest, looking at it. Definitely room to improve. And they're the sort of sides I like to go in and take over. Ones that we can bring players in. I like the transfer market, like playing the transfer market, getting in players and improving the side. So I think without further ado, we've signed the contract to QPR. We've got a tour arranged, an international tournament in Norway. So we're going to play through that, show you some highlights of that. But we really obviously want to get into the championship season. But I think early doors, we're going to have a couple of offers in on those players on the shortlist. So I said we was a bit short in the central midfield area. So we've got this Jesse Schuurman or George Marsh. Definitely want to pop an offer in for Yearwood. So let's have a look, see how much money we've got in the budget. So we've got 2.7 million. So let's start the bidding off for Drew. It's going at 650. Let's see if they bite at that. Wait for an answer. And Fernández. We've got Luke Freeman on the left hand side, but I wouldn't mind a nice backup. Definitely want Jamal Lowe. So we're going to have a little bid for him as well. Let's start the bidding for him at 750. And again, see what bites there. And Dylan Vente could be looking at his stats, could be an astute signing. We're going to see if we can get him in on loan for the season. And then it's probably between Schuurman and George Marsh. So Marsh is a central defensive midfielder. So we're looking at his slide tackle 50 to 60, standing tackle 56 to 66. Certainly better than Schuurman. Yeah, it's going to be close between these two. What I'm going to do, we're going to get these two scouted, see what the scouts come back with, and take it from there. So let's push on, and we're getting the first game coming up, which is going to be against Mould, I think. So let's have a look. Southend bid rejected. They think he's worth more, which is fine. Jamal Lowe is too valuable to Portsmouth. Totally understand that. But Dylan Vente, Feyenoord happy to loan him out for the season. And for £2,000 a week, we'll take him. Now then, back to these two. So Yearwood and Lowe. So Yearwood, they want more money. So let's submit a new offer. And let's go in at 850. This is how we do business at QPR. And Jamal Lowe, too valuable. So let's see if we can tempt them with a backup player from our squad. So he's a right winger. So let's see if we've got any right wingers. Che Tilt. Okay, he's not worth a lot. And they'll probably laugh at that. Shodipo. We've got a couple of left-sided players. So that could be an option. So Olamide Shodapo is a 63 overall. And Bright Osei Samuel, who's a 60 overall. Both the same age. And Bright here is offered at valued at 250. And Shodapo 400. So we're going to go for... Where's he gone? Come back. Bright Osei Samuel. We're going to throw him in as well. We're going to maybe up that to 950. Press the right button. 950, Osei Samuel, and let's see how valuable Jamal Lowe is to Portsmouth in that situation. We're going to go in now for the game against Mould. So, as I say, probably fly through some of these, probably update you during the course of this tournament, but I don't think the tournament's too interesting. If anything amazing happens, I will edit it in. Otherwise, I will catch you a bit later.
The interception was timely, to say the least. Here's the shot. Corner kick given. His debut for the club. A good signing?
Well, I think so. He certainly showed some form at his old club, so it's all...
He's got his shot off now, and he's put it into the bottom corner. It's a super goal from a splendid team.
It's men against boys out there, and the opposition goalkeeper can feel exposed and let down by his defenders. Oh, he'll be pleased with that finish, he really will. A clean strike, plenty of power, not to mention accuracy.
So I was catching up on news after the first of our friendlies, which was a 1-1 draw, as hopefully you've seen in the highlights. So, Southend still playing hardball with Drew Yearwood, and he is still out of our reach at the moment. The sum is too low. They kind of got us on a bit of a leash there. Ewan Turner, our scout, sent back a report on George Marsh, youngster from Spurs. He's rated as an overall 57 now, £160,000 value and £2,000 a week, but his stats don't really add up at the moment. Lots of work needed there if we're going to take him in, so may consider leaving his leaving an offer for him on the table. So the next game we've got is Brøndby. So actually, let's go back and up that bid for Yearwood, because we really want Drew Yearwood. He will fit in very nicely in this side from what I've seen so far. We kind of need that energy in midfield. Jake Bidwell, Josh Schuurman, who scored in that last game, is probably my first choice central midfielder. Massimo Luongo, not so convinced about. So that's probably where Yearwood would fit in. So let's see if we can offer Southend somebody to soften this blow a little bit. Who can we offload? So Che Tilt, the right sided midfield. Southend might be more likely to go for someone like that. So let's make that offer and see what comes back from the board at Roots Hall. But until then, we'll crack on with our second game. So just back from second friendly of pre-season and a 1-0 defeat against Brøndby. But we put in basically all of our reserve players just to give everybody a run and just to see what players look like. And as you can probably tell, nobody impressed at all, really. So that's interesting. So we're on again to our transfer sagas, and Portsmouth still not happy to sell us Jamal Lowe. So we're going to keep going, and this is probably going to be the last offer. I say that, I can never resist, keep putting in better offers. Don't want an international job. Final report on Jesse Schuurman. This is the other player we looked at. And he's a 60. And he's got some potential. know. Might be worth a low ball offer. His contract's expiring in 11 months. See if we can pick him up for a cheeky 100 grand. Half of what he's valued at. Because he could be potentially moulded into someone that we could use. So we're waiting on a reply and still got no joy with Southend. Although here we go, we've reviewed the offer you've made for Drew Yearwood. Unfortunately, we can't go ahead with the deal because even though we're interested in the player you've offered, we do not believe the cash sum is enough. Increase the cash sum to 1.5 million and we'll be willing to let Drew Yearwood go. That's interesting. Tell you what, we're gonna lowball them by 200 grand. Let's see what they say to that. Now we're gonna sim the next match because we've played one with our full team, played one with our reserve team. Let's just sim the next game, get into the championship season. And a 2-1 defeat means we're on our way home anyway. So Leicester picked up an injury and Naki Wells with the goal. Scant consolation. But that's fine. Played 3 pre-season games. And now we can get on with the real business in hand. The championship. So more news. Leicester has a sprained knee. Be out for 7 days. That's fine. He should be fit for the new season. We're out of the cup. We've got some prize money. Jamal Lowe. Portsmouth are not interested in the player we've offered. And Vitesse are not happy with our low ball offer. Tell you what, we're going to go back in with another 50k for Schuurman. Because we quite like the potential that guy's got in our midfield. We're looking for someone who can get on the ball, pass the ball. And hopefully we can mould him in. But we really do want this right-hand side player. Jamal Lowe's the one that we want. They don't want Osei Samuel. Don't know what else we can do in terms of moving our squad around. Could try a different position perhaps. Jordan Cousins. Let's up it 100 grand and offer them a better player than Jordan Cousins. And crack on with the table. So Southend, we've finally got a bid offered for Drew Yearwood. That's the one we wanted. It's going to cost us 1.3 million. But look at the wages Drew wants. £1,000 a week. That's perfect. 3-year deal. Squad role. We'll give him an important first team role. Actually, he wants... Okay. So used to playing Football Manager. Not play FIFA for a while. Right, so he wants 1,700 a week. That's still fine. Doesn't need a goal bonus. He doesn't score goals. I'm quite happy to offer him a 4-year deal. And hopefully that will be enough to get that deal over the line. Let's crack on, see what we've got. We're going to look more detail about why we've picked QPR as the season goes on. As we get knocked back for Jamal Lowe, and again they're not interested in the player. But Drew Yearwood is arriving, and that is a massive signing. Not going to be a name a lot of people are probably familiar with, but believe me, he will do wonders. We lost Che Till, the youngster, but that's fine. Now, if we can get... Now we know we've got the Yearwood deal over the line. We've got a bit of budget to play with. Let's go back in. 1.5 million for Jamal Lowe. They don't want Cousins. Let's just remove any offer of a player and see what they come back with. Let's have a little look at our shortlist again. See if we can look at another option for the right-hand side. We've got Victor Fernández. Primarily a left winger. He's got good stats though. I quite like the look of him. We're going to make a cheeky loan offer. See if we can pick him up on loan for the season. Let's cover for Luke Freeman. Not been convinced in the 2 games that I've played with our backup left-sided options. So that certainly going to be an area we're looking at. So scouts are also looking at first team quality strikers. So this is interesting. Chris Wood. No chance we're getting Chris Wood from Burnley. Connor Wickham. That's quite interesting. Stick him on the short list. In and out of Palace's first team, so not completely out of the question. Just going to have a quick flick down these. Fernando Forestieri of Sheffield Wednesday. He'd be a great player to bring to the club. I'll tell you what, going to stick him on a wish list. Not because I think we can get him, but just in case anything happens during the season, if he gets transfer listed or if he's out of favour, we'll have another look at him. Shane Long of Southampton. Again, probably unrealistic for the way I like to play. Don't know, I mean, we've got Naki Wells. Got Matt Smith. They're two good players. And here we are. It's confirmation Drew Yearwood is in the side. Or in the club. We're not going to go crazy for Jesse Schuurman. We can probably get better players if they're going to play silly games. He's out of contract. And if they're going to haggle over 50 grand, we're not interested. So Portsmouth still playing hardball. 1.7 million for Jamal Lowe. I'll tell you what. I like this kid a lot. And we're going to offer that. It's double what we initially started offering, more or less. And Newcastle happy to let Victor Fernández out on loan for the season. And we're happy to take him. So, some decent signings there. I'm probably still looking for some defensive cover, if I'm honest. But some decent business happening. Jamal Lowe, confirmed. See if we can get a contract for the lad. He wants £2 grand a week. Can do that. He wants a 3-year deal. Can do that. He'll be a first team player. And hopefully we'll get that one over the line. And confirmation there. Victor Fernández is also joining. So we might start the season with that business. Jamal Lowe accepts a contract and he signs, and that leaves us with barely any transfer budget anyway. But what we might do is stick some players up for sale. This episode, don't want to drag on too much longer, and because this is the first week of our new FIFA series returning, it's a double episode, so stay tuned for the first championship game of the season. It's the whole game versus Preston from Deepdale, and that's with full commentary. Only 5-minute half, so it's only sort of a 10-15 minute video, so please check that out. First game of the season, can we get a coveted win in the first game of the season away from home? But until then, thanks for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed this new series on Queen's Park Rangers, and can we get them to the Premier League and beyond? Time will tell, but it should be fun getting there. What I'm going to do is FIFA videos every Friday, so stay tuned every week for new FIFA content. But until then, I will see you guys later. Bye.